Let us now do something in this workbook. Specifically, we are going to learn how to maneuver between workbooks and worksheets, and also explore a few important features and operations within Excel. Alright, let's begin by working between two workbooks. To create a new blank workbook, go to Home, Blank Workbook. Just like that, we have a new blank workbook. And I want to split my screen. Like that, so that we will be able to observe between the two workbooks what we are doing. Original workbook here, the new workbook here. Suppose I want to move this data set to our new workbook. How do I go about that? Well, there are around 3 ways to go about it. And let's begin by formula option. The formula is always began with an equal sign. And then let's get back to this one. Click the first cell there, A1, and left click your mouse and drag all the way to the end of this data. And now let's move down to the end of this data. Now this contains around 1000 rows, and we shall wait for a long time in order to get there. I don't recommend this way, so let me escape. Again, let me begin by an equal sign. Select the first cell there, A1, and click Ctrl and Shift buttons at the same time. Then right arrow key, down arrow key, just like that. Click enter, and we have moved that data there. Double click to change the worksheet name. Let's write formula, because we used a formula to move it. Now another way is to copy and paste. Let's move to that data. Now let's do the same thing we did previously. Select the first cell, Ctrl Shift, right key, and down key. And now Ctrl C to copy. Come to the new blank workbook, and now the second sheet there. Ctrl V, just like that. We have moved. Let's call it copy and paste. Now the last option is to go to this. Let me escape. Now, while hovering over the name of the worksheet, original worksheet there, right click it, and then move to this part, move or copy, click it. You can move this sheet to a new workbook. You can move it within the same workbook, or you can go to an already created workbook. For us, it is book 1. And then you want to move that sheet before which one? The formula one, copy and paste one, or you want to move to the end? We want to move to the end. And then in order to retain also this copy of the data set in the original workbook, just create a copy. Click OK, and just like that, in the new workbook, we have that. Let me put full screen. And to move to maneuver between different worksheets in the same workbook, you use these buttons here. All right. And now we have 3 different copies of the same worksheet in this new workbook. Now, let's do some things here. For example, you can see these hashtag signs here. What this is telling us is that they are screaming, you are squeezing us so much. So in order to relieve this column, come to the end of the column there at the very border between column B and C, double click it. In order to do it for all the columns at the same time, select all the columns and then go to the end of the selection there, the last column, double click it, and now we have clean dataset. Let's explore what is called range. Now you can understand range to mean a selection of multiple cells. For example, we can select all these cells here, and as you can see, the formula there writes A1 colon I10. It takes the first cell there and the last cell within that range. That is how you denote a range. And when you click enter, and because we used a formula sign that is equal, now this information has been brought here. Now it is only the first cell that will display the formula. If you want to change it, say to I9, and you update it, and boom, it updates it like that. Now you can also add rows and columns. For example, if we want to add a column, for example, before G, select that column and then go to insert sheet columns, and just like that we have introduced a new column here. You can also add a row, and if you want to add a row between row 3 and 4, come to row 4 and select it, and then go to insert within home tab, insert row. Let's go back using Ctrl Z. You can actually delete a row or a column. Suppose we want to delete column G, select it, and you can go directly here to delete that column. Another way is just select that column, right click, and then you can delete it. The same thing with let's restore it using Ctrl Z. The same thing with rows. You can select it, you can come to delete it here, or you can just right click it and delete. Let's restore it using Ctrl Z. All right. It is the same thing when adding. If you want to add, instead of going all the way to there, you can as well right click and then you can insert a row like that. Let's now do a little some operations within here. Let's delete all these values and calculate them using formula, basic formulas. Selecting that first cell, click Ctrl Shift and then down arrow key, click delete to delete everything there. Now begin a formula with an equal sign, and then for the total amount we want to multiply the quantity and price per unit. That is like saying 3 multiplied by 15, and we are able to get 115. Now we can also do the same thing here. 2 multiplied by 500, and this will also give us 1,000. And this dataset consists of 1,000 rows. If you have to go this way, then you are going to waste a lot of time. And instead of using these values themselves, we would rather reference the cells while we are doing these calculations. And let's begin with an equal sign again. Just to reference these three, you can click over there and then click multiplied H2O. Click enter. Now notice something here. When we come to the left bottom part of that cell, we see this plus icon, and it is called autofill. Very magical feature in Excel. So if we drag it down there, you see it updates automatically. We can continue to drag this all, but that will also waste a lot of time. The simplest way to go about that is to come to this last part there and double click, and just like that you have filled all that information to the very last row. All right, so that was awesome. I want to thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.